So the Oklahoma Sooners just got a massive win on the recruiting trail for one of the best prospects in all of high school football, regardless of position. As top 15 player in the nation, Michael Fasusi, an offensive tackle out the state of Texas, commits to Oklahoma today. We need to talk about it. We need to break it down, talk about why this is such a big addition, how it came to be, and why this should comfort some Oklahoma fans out there. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited that Michael Fasusi chose to commit to the Sooners? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. The season is right around the corner, and I do constant college football content, and you don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions seem incredibly small, but truly they are massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And as we do every time we talk about a recruit, who is Michael Fasusi? Well, as I alluded to in the intro, he is a top 15 player nationally, regardless of position. And if we look at the 24/7 sports composite, he comes in as the number 12 player in the nation, the number 3 offensive tackle, and the number 5 player in the state of Texas, where he stands 6'5", 295. And Texas high school football always just impresses me. Let's be honest, there are so many talented players in the state. I went and looked, and this year, Texas has 40 of the top 300 prospects nationally. And Oklahoma being able to go into the state of Texas, get a guy like Michael Fasusi, who, by the way, two of the major programs in the state wanted in the Texas Longhorns and Texas A&M. We'll talk about that here in a bit. That's a massive win for Bill Bebo and the Oklahoma Sooners. And it gives OU their second offensive tackle in the class and their fourth offensive lineman in the class. A class that, with the addition of Michael Fasusi, now ranks number 8 nationally with 23 commits. So you're squarely in the top 10, somewhere that, let's be honest, Brent Venables has lived in the top 10, both in recruiting and in transfer portal acquisitions ever since he took over the job. Part of the reason why I'm so high on the Sooners and their transition from the Big 12 to the SEC is Brent is recruiting really solid classes, top to bottom. I mean, you look at it, and we've talked about this on the channel. We've even talked about some of these 3-star guys that are in Oklahoma's class, saying to anybody that will listen, hey, that's a dude. How they're a 3-star, we're not real sure, but that's a real talented guy. We've had the conversation about several prospects in this class. One off the top of my head is an Emmanuel Choice, who Coach Sean of JMHO Sports right here on YouTube has told OU fans time and time again, that is an incredibly talented player and one that you should be very happy to have in your class regardless of star rankings. And this is a conversation I always have. If your staff evaluates a player, likes them, it doesn't matter if they're a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star. Your staff knows what they're looking for, and they're able to go get it. Which gets me into the conversation of why this should comfort Oklahoma fans. Because one of the most surprising takes I have received in the past is Oklahoma fans, not all, but a certain group, being displeased with Bill Bebo and his recruiting efforts. My thought process has always been as followed. Sure, Bill Bebo may not be getting the 5 stars like you would want, but at the same time, has it mattered? The man is still churning out NFL draft pick after NFL draft pick, and you look and they do very well in the NFL. You look at Tyler Guyton, a guy who started his career out as a defensive lineman, ended up going to Oklahoma, and in 1 year really learned a lot from Bill Bebo, learned a lot from the system. So my thought process was always, well, if the guy is putting together offensive lines that aren't bad, that are keeping the quarterback upright, that are allowing you to have a rushing game that's effective, and he's developing them, sending them to the NFL, does it matter? Or is this just a guy that knows exactly what he's looking for and has been able to go and get that both in the transfer portal and in recruiting? And if that's the case, why does it matter the star ranking? I get it. 5 stars are exciting. And if you look at the first round of the NFL draft, you are overwhelmingly more likely to be a first-round draft pick as a 5-star than as a 4, 3, 2, or even unranked prospect. But at the end of the day, if you're having success, that's all that matters. Well, we now have a conversation where Bill Bebo just got the 5-star offensive tackle, and that is going to go a long ways into satisfying those people that didn't quite believe in his recruiting ability. Which is still a take that I personally find a little wild because everything I just said, but at the end of the day, I do get it. You're looking around, some other people might be getting some 5 stars. 5 stars are exciting. You want that in your class. Bill Biedenbow just got a 5-star. And if he is able to do what he does consistently with all those other guys who are all very talented players, remember, high school football recruiting and being able to rank these players, that's very difficult. There are so many high school football prospects. Some are going to fall through the cracks, and especially now with this camp setting situation where these players have to pay to go to these camps hosted by some of these major brands. And if a kid isn't camping, he's less likely to be ranked as a 4-star or a 5-star unless he gets scouted in person by one of these organizations. So it's very likely that a lot of people fall through the cracks. It's very likely that there are 3 stars out there that can play at the level of high 4 stars and even 5 stars. We've seen it time and time again. But now Bill Biedenbow has evaluated somebody that he loves, that he wants to bring into the fold, and that individual is a 5-star. So what does Michael Fasusi from a physical standpoint bring to the table? Well, he is a great offensive tackle and someone who it doesn't take a genius to figure out he has high upside. When you watch him play, there are a few things that you have to love immediately. One, it's the fact that his footwork is there. He's going to be able to take that, go to college, continue working on that craft with Bill Biedenbow, get quicker, get more steady, and be able to be an effective pass blocker. And I think that's something that you absolutely want off of your offensive tackle, but you also have to have that aggressive nature to be able to finish and run blocking, and he absolutely has that. There's a reason why he comes in at number 12 nationally and the number 3 offensive tackle. By the way, this is a really good class for offensive tackles. You look top to bottom, a lot of solid guys in this class, and if you wanted to get a 5-star offensive tackle, this was the class to do it, or if you needed a 5-star offensive tackle, this was certainly the class to do it. So if Bill Biedenbow has been successful looking around, evaluating, and saying, that guy over there has all of the things that I want, that I think it takes to be successful, and now he gets that and finds that in this 5-star offensive tackle, that's incredible. And it will go a long way to answering and quelling those fears that some had. And those fears were only exacerbated after Ty Haywood chose Alabama over the Oklahoma Sooners. But even in that situation, Ty Haywood has remained consistent that, one, he is from Mississippi, and he's always dreamed of going to Alabama. Well, now you can sleep easy at night because you got a guy in Michael Fasusi who Haywood is ranked 11th, I believe. Fasusi's 12th. They're right there. I mean, both incredibly gifted offensive linemen, right? Nobody complains about getting one or the other of those guys. They are that gifted. And finally, we need to talk about why I loved this battle, because it was 2 bitter rivals. Texas really wanted Michael Fasusi. In Texas, we talk about Bill Biedenbow being an incredible offensive line coach. I've floated out there before that I think there's a principled argument he might be the best offensive line coach in the nation. Texas also has a guy that many of their fans feel the same way about. And to be 100% honest, I don't know how you would create a top 5 offensive line coach in college football and not include both of those guys. I don't know that it could be done. Kyle Flood is a monster as an offensive line coach, but he's also a monster on the recruiting trail. Listen, this was a guy that was out of Alabama. So I was watching carefully when he was there. He was at Rutgers, did great work there, came to Alabama. I watched how he recruited. I studied how he recruited and have continued to do so since he got to Texas. And he really turned around the fate of that Texas offensive line. Kyle Flood is a monster, which only makes this win even more impressive. The fact that Bill Biedenbow and the Oklahoma Sooners went toe-to-toe with Kyle Flood and the Texas Longhorns and were able to pull off this win only scores how impressive it is. Because I know that there are going to be some watching this video who are a little bit perturbed that I would even mention the bitter rivals in this situation. But understand this, and hear me out here before you type the comment. I wouldn't be doing my job of telling you the complete story if I didn't mention that. I wouldn't be telling the complete story of why this is such a big win, why this should excite Oklahoma fans to the level that it should, if I didn't give you that information, if I didn't tell you that truth that Kyle Flood is a monster on the recruiting trail. He is a monster offensive line coach, and your monster, Bill Bebo, just went toe-to-toe with him and got a big win. That means something. So I know it's always contentious, just like if you do an Alabama video and you bring up Auburn, if you do an Ohio State video and you bring up Michigan, it's always contentious to bring out the rival. But understand this, my goal is to tell you the complete story, or as complete as I can based off of the information I know. And I do believe this is a compelling part of this story. You got a massive win for one of the best prospects in the nation and went toe-to-toe with one of the better offensive line coaches and recruiters in the nation. 100% that's a part of the story. So for Oklahoma, big win. I know OU fans everywhere are excited. You get one of the best prospects in the nation. You get to pair him along with Ryan Fauger, another offensive tackle, a guy we covered here on the channel. And remember, at the time where I covered Ryan Fauger, every year I give you some 3-star prospects that I tell you, hey, this guy's underrated. He was one of them, and now I can't even say that about him anymore because he's a top 150 player in the nation, and he's not done flying up that recruiting board, by the way. He'll keep rising up that board. Make no mistake about it. So for Oklahoma, great work on this class by Bill Bebo. Great work getting this win. And I love watching bitter rivals recruit the same prospects. But I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments and let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.